Imagine the world without the Queen of Pop. Hard, right? Most legends her age are busy enjoying their royalties on a beach somewhere, but not her. She refuses to fade away. Madonna is the ultimate pop shock that just refuses to quit, even when the world practically begs her to sit down and take a rest. While other icons from her era are long retired or playing the nostalgia circuit in small venues, she is still out there, pushing buttons and breaking boundaries like it is 1984 all over again. But even the strongest warriors have their moments of weakness. You probably remember that massive headline back in 2023 that stopped the world in its tracks. Reports surfaced that she was found unresponsive and rushed to the ICU with a serious bacterial infection. It was a terrifying moment for fans everywhere, and it made everyone wonder, was this just a freak health scare, or was it the inevitable physical toll of 4 decades of nonstop reinvention? Speaking of being human, have you guys heard the vampire theory? It is one of those lighthearted but persistent fan theories that pops up every time she releases a new track. The idea is that Madonna doesn't just follow trends, she literally feeds off the energy of whatever is new and cool to stay eternally young. It is like she finds the freshest underground producers, the hungriest dancers, and the wildest fashion designers, and absorbs their essence to keep her own fire burning. Think about where it all started. She arrived in New York City with nothing but $35 in her pocket and a dream so big it could swallow the skyline. She went from being a starving dancer eating out of trash cans to becoming a billionaire icon and the most successful female touring artist in history. But why does she still feel the need to shock us? After 40 years in the spotlight, you would think she had nothing left to prove to anyone, yet every move she makes seems designed to spark a conversation, or a full-blown riot. Is it just her nature to be a provocateur, or is there something deeper driving her to keep the world on its toes? Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Now, looking at her recent celebration tour, it is clear she views her career as a living museum of her own legacy. It was not just a concert, it was an immersive journey through her various lives. We saw the 80s club kid, the 90s sex symbol, the spiritual seeker, and the modern day rebel all on one stage. It was a massive scale production that reminded everyone exactly why she still owns the crown, but it also raised a massive question. Have we ever actually known the real Madonna? Or is she just a series of perfectly crafted masks that she switches out whenever she gets bored? Behind the scenes, the rumors are even more intense. We often see the polished final product, but the unknown side of Madonna is whispered about by those who have actually worked with her. They talk about a drill sergeant mentality that would make a military general blush. Her dancers tell stories of 16-hour rehearsal days where perfection is not just a goal, it is the absolute minimum requirement. She is a relentless perfectionist who demands total devotion. This intensity has fueled her visual evolution from those iconic lace gloves of the 80s to the high-tech avatars and digital filters she uses today. She is a controversy magnet, especially on social media. Every time she posts on Instagram, the internet explodes into a million pieces. For Madonna, reinvention isn't just about fashion or being trendy, it is a survival tactic. In a male-dominated industry that discards women the moment they turn 40, she decided to rewrite the rules entirely, prepare for gritty details. The 80s weren't just about music, they were about the sheer audacity of a woman who knew exactly what she wanted from the world. When she stepped onto that stage with her boy toy belt and mountains of lace, she wasn't just selling a look, she was reclaiming her sexuality in a way that made the traditional world absolutely shudder. Remember the religious imagery? She didn't just wear a cross, she made the Vatican lose its collective mind by mixing the sacred with the profane in her videos. You guys won't believe how much that changed the game for everyone. Was it cold marketing or pure instinct? Either way, it worked. She was a global brand before people understood what that meant. This leads us to her business brain. During her Maverick Records era, she transformed into a high-powered CEO. She wasn't just picking songs, she was deciding who the next big thing would be. She had an incredible eye for talent and a ruthless edge that proved she was much more than just a dancer. But her personal life was just as much of a battlefield as her career. Enter the Poison Pen era with Sean Penn. Their relationship was a media circus. They were the ultimate it couple, but the pressure was immense and the flashbulbs were constant. Every argument was scrutinized by the press. It was during this chaotic time that she really learned how to control her narrative. If the media was going to talk anyway, she figured she might as well give them something truly explosive to discuss. This philosophy led her straight into the fire with the 1992 sex book and the erotica album. This was the moment she almost lost it all. The backlash was fierce and almost universal. People were burning her records and calling for a boycott in the streets. But instead of apologizing, she leaned into it. She used that failure to pivot into something deeper, more soulful, and more introspective than ever before. That pivot led to her most significant transformation during the Ray of Light era. We saw Mother Earth take her place. This wasn't just a phase, it was a total internal shift influenced by Kabbalah. She traded the leather for flowing robes and electronic songs about the universe and motherhood. It felt like she had finally found peace, but the reinvention didn't stop there. Suddenly, she was a British aristocrat. Her marriage to Guy Ritchie saw her moving to the countryside and even adopting an accent that had everyone confused. It was like she was trying on a completely different life just for size. Was this her most authentic self, or just her most elaborate costume? While the world was debating her accent, she was quietly keeping her ear to the ground. Madonna has a secret weapon, her ability to identify underground talent early. Long before they were famous, she was working with producers like Diplo and Sophie. She knows that to stay fresh, you have to collaborate with the people breaking the rules. Of course, we can't ignore the plastic surgery elephant in the room. The public's obsession with her changing face has reached a fever pitch, but Madonna remains defiant. She sees it as a war against ageism. Why should she age gracefully by society's boring standards? She's taking a stand, even if it makes people uncomfortable. This defiance is backed up by a work ethic that is frankly terrifying. Even at 65, stories describe 16-hour rehearsal days where she is the last one to leave the floor. She is a total workaholic, and a lot of that drive comes from her role as a mother. Lords and Rocco have been huge influences on her worldview. They keep her grounded, but also push her to stay relevant in a fast world. And don't forget the fuel she gets from her legendary rivalries. Whether it's feuds with Cher, Elton John, or Lady Gaga, Madonna uses competition to keep her fire burning. She doesn't just want to be in the race, she wants to be setting the pace. This has set the stage for the modern, social media-obsessed Madonna we see today. A version of the icon that confuses and fascinates Gen Z in equal measure. But wait, because the digital mask she wears now might be her most provocative choice yet. Now, let's talk about the absolute enigma that is her current Instagram presence. Seriously, have you scrolled through her feed lately? It is a wild, neon-soaked trip that has everyone talking in circles. One day she's posting high-fashion editorials that look like they belong in a futuristic museum, and the next she's sharing these almost surreal, glitchy videos that leave people scratching their heads in total confusion. Is she losing touch with reality, or is she the ultimate troll, playing the internet like a fiddle just to keep her engagement numbers through the roof? It's a masterclass in staying relevant by being completely unpredictable, and we absolutely have to address the filter controversy that follows her everywhere. Why does the woman who once championed raw, unfiltered truth and gritty realism now seem to hide behind these heavy digital masks? Fans are totally divided on this one. Some whisper about body dysmorphia and the pressure to stay young, while others see it as a deliberate artistic choice. Madonna treating her own face as an evolving piece of digital art for the new age. She's not just trying to look 20, she's trying to look like a version of herself that only exists in a sci-fi future. Then came that viral Grammy speech in 2023 that practically broke the internet. The world was busy tearing apart her appearance and dissecting every feature, but Madonna did what she does best. She turned the lens back on us. She delivered a blistering, unapologetic critique of a global culture that hates older women who refuse to be quiet, neat, and obedient. She basically told the entire world that she isn't going to apologize for how she looks, how she dresses, or how she chooses to live her life. It was a classic Madonna versus the world moment that reminded everyone she hasn't lost an ounce of her edge. But this level of defiance comes with a heavy cost, and it's created a fascinating rift in her fan base that we've never seen before. You've got the queen, let her live. Crowd on one side cheering her every move, and the longtime fans who find her recent social media antics a bit cringe on the other. This generational divide is huge. But let's be real for a second, Madonna has been making people uncomfortable since the early 80s. If she wasn't being called cringe or too much by some segment of the population, she probably wouldn't feel like she was doing her job right. She loves a good clapback, often using her platform to mock the critics who say she's trying too hard. She's basically saying, I'm Madonna, I built the playground you're playing in, so what are you doing with your life? Behind the glitz and the flashing lights of the celebration tour, however, there's a much more human story of physical struggle. The toll of being a global icon and a high-energy performer for over 40 years is no joke. Rumors about hip surgeries and chronic pain have been circling her for years, and yet she still goes out there and delivers a high-octane 2-hour spectacle night after night. It's that legendary drill sergeant mentality in full action. She pushes her body far past its natural limits because she simply refuses to let age dictate her movements or her career. It's a level of grit and determination that you just don't see in the industry very often. This is exactly why current megastars like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Dua Lipa are constantly being compared to her. They are all working directly from the Madonna blueprint. Whether it's the concept of distinct eras that redefine their image or the way they handle their massive business empires, the DNA of Madonna's career is baked into everything they do. She was the one who taught them how to be CEOs and architects of their own legacies, not just singers. Even her foray into her own biopic shows her relentless need for total control. She famously took over the directing duties herself because she didn't trust any Hollywood director to get the story of her life right. She put potential stars through a grueling Madonna boot camp that involved 11-hour choreography sessions and intense acting workshops. Ultimately, she put the whole movie project on hold to focus on her tour, showing that for her, the live stage will always be her first and truest love. Is that perfectionism at its peak? Absolutely. So, what's the final verdict on her final act? People are constantly speculating about when she'll finally decide to retire. But if history has taught us anything, it's that Madonna doesn't do anything quietly. She will likely be reinventing herself and pushing boundaries until the very end. Perhaps even moving into the world of AI or virtual reality to ensure her image lives forever in the digital ether. At the end of the day, despite all the rumors, the gossip, and the controversial Instagram posts that make us blink twice, she remains the most successful female touring artist in history, period. She is a billionaire who built an empire on the ruins of people's expectations and the fragments of the rules she broke. Will we ever see another star with the sheer guts to alienate their own fans just to try something new and experimental? Probably not. She's the original provocateur, the one who paved the road for everyone else to walk on. So I have to ask you guys, which Madonna era was the absolute peak for you? Do you think she's gone too far with the digital masks and the filters, or is she just staying one step ahead of a world that's constantly trying to catch up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the icons who shaped our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.